Do Hey, and I think we're live. Uh, I'll wait for everyone to catch up here in the stream. What's happening, everybody? It's like the middle of the day on Saturday, and I don't normally have time to do this, but today I did, and I thought it would be kind of fun. I was kind of just lounging around, playing some video games, and said, "Why don't I get online?" Because I've been wanting to live stream for a while. What's up, guys? What's up, Frostbite? What's up, Ian Morley? The master, of course, is always like the first dude in the chat, which is cool. What's up, JD? Staten? What's up? Um, yeah, so I've been wanting to live stream, and E3's coming up, man, which is super exciting. And I really don't even have any specific topics to talk about other than just the fact that E3 is coming, which is pretty exciting. So yeah, I kind of just figured I'd make it like a bit of a Q&A and just kind of see what you guys had to say, because we're like less than 2 weeks from E3, which I've brought up in many of the videos that I make too. And it is super, super exciting. Soul Flaming, oh my gosh, I remember your name. Soul Flaming Shin Megami Tensei Dragon Striker 2018, the greatest name, says, how about Elder Scrolls 6? Yeah, man, I can't freaking wait for Elder Scrolls 6. Honestly, I mean, I'm excited for Bethesda's conference, but I don't even know if they're going to touch on Elder Scrolls. I mean, there's just no way that they're ready to show that game. I think last year when they showed it, that was just like a goodwill tease. That's what it felt like to me. Just like, hey, this is probably a game you guys would care about. And so here is a picture of a castle and a logo, and we'll see you in 10 years, kind of thing. But it is, I mean, I discussed it on a list of like games I was excited for E3. It's like right near the top of my list. I am so pumped for Elder Scrolls. I think Star Citizen would probably come before Elder Scrolls, though, right? I mean, we know that they've been working on that for such a long time, before Fallout 4 even came out, I believe. Um, so, so yeah. What's up, Zach? What's up, Vegan Games? Um, JD says, my day off, checking out YouTube. Saw you were going to be live. Wow, good timing. I do not go live very often, and it's usually more in the evening. At least, and so where I am, I'm on the west coast of the states. So for me, it's 12:30. It's literally the dead middle of the day, and I've got a bunch of band and music stuff to do a little bit. So that's kind of why I figured I would do just a quick live stream. I don't even know if I'll go an hour. Maybe not. Okay, so Ian says, "Yo, it's very rare I'm available to listen to your shows. Life gets in the way." Yeah, man, that definitely does happen. Rob, do you think we will get Skyward Sword HD at E3? No, I don't think we will. But man, do I want Skyward Sword HD. Skyward Sword to me is this weird redheaded stepchild of like the Zelda games, and it bothers me because I think that game is freaking fantastic. I've gone back and revisited Skyward Sword a good couple of times in my life, and every time I do, I'm just like, yeah, this game is great. The controls aren't perfect, and there are too many battles with the imprisoned. Like those two complaints are true. They're accurate complaints, but I don't care. Like I love the visuals, I love the music, I love the world in that game, even though it is kind of linear. Actually, I don't know if I want to say that the game is linear. I think it's just the areas you go to are very linear. That part is for sure. And it would have been nice if it had more of an open world aspect, but I loved like soaring into the sky, like around Skyloft and stuff. And I always wish that there was more to do and more things to find in the sky, but I still thought it was a cool mechanic, man. So anyway, I love Skyward Sword. I want Skyward Sword HD. I do think before the end of time, we will see that happen. I've discussed this when discussing Zelda HD or whatever, Skyward Sword HD, that at this point, we're looking at a situation where if Nintendo doesn't do something with it, it's going to become this one Zelda game that just becomes trapped on the Wii just because of the controls. And I think that that sucks for Skyward Sword to be trapped and boxed in, because Ocarina of Time has had plenty of re-releases and like a 3D remaster. Majora's Mask had that. Twilight Princess had that. Wind Waker had that. Now Link's Awakening is getting that. Why wouldn't they also take this amazing, humongous adventure that is Skyward Sword and do something else with it? It just makes sense to me. So yeah, the controls are a barrier, but I just believe it's possible to make that game work without motion controls. And one day I think Nintendo will do it. I don't think it's going to be next week at E3, but one day. One day, one day. So, good question. I love talking Skyward Sword. Everyone hates on that game, and I just really, really like that. Um, ITLA, I don't know how to say your name, says, "Hi Rob, do you believe the Witcher Switch rumor? The Witcher Switcher rumor?" I tend to believe it. I definitely have reason to think that these rumors are accurate. And so I want to say that, yeah, I believe that The Witcher 3 is coming. It's another one of those cases where with the Switch, we get all these ports that are like really, really late based on when they initially released. And, we're also getting, what was the other, like all those Baldur's Gate games were just confirmed and they're very old games, but that, of course, is coming to all the platforms. So the Switch seems to get a lot of like older games, like Darksiders came and stuff. And it's like, I mean, that's cool, but I sometimes wish they were a little bit more recent. Like the way Doom was handled, to me, that was perfect. Because that was like a year after it came out on the original consoles. And there's also the fact that the Switch wasn't even released when that game released on Xbox and PlayStation and PC. Switch comes out, it's a big hit, and by the end of that same calendar year, they managed to get Doom out, and it's like that's a great way to do it. I was totally cool with that. But now we're starting to see evidence of like other huge games coming out day and date. Mortal Kombat 11 was huge. The fact that they came out day and date. Doom Eternal is promised to be the same thing. Wolfenstein 2 kind of fits in there weirdly because the Switch was out when that game came out, but they still took an extra like 7 months or whatever to get it out on the Switch. But still, I prefer that to waiting so long like a game like Witcher 3. It would have been nice if Witcher 3 was ready within the first year of the Switch's launch, as opposed to waiting 2 years after it came out, 2.5 years. But I don't want to sound like I'm actually complaining because it is cool. If in fact we see The Witcher 3 on the Switch, I think that is very cool. And I think it's going to be very popular. I mean, Dragon's Dogma. I knew there was another big one I was thinking of. Dragon's Dogma, this random port of that game, seventh gen game that my brother really loved. I never actually played it. And it's like, why are we waiting so long? Why are we bringing so many old games? What about new games? I'm not going to lie. I would have been more pumped if it was Cyberpunk coming to the Switch than this rumor about The Witcher 3. But, Cyberpunk maybe can't run on the Switch. I don't know. We don't even know if The Witcher 3 can run, to be fair. Nothing's confirmed. It's just a rumor. But that rumor sure makes a lot of sense to me. And there is a lot of smoke to that fire. So, I'm not going to tell you I know it 100%, but I sure certainly believe that it is very likely going to happen. So, Vegan says, "Are you a Sith or the Apprentice?" You mean the Master or the Apprentice? I feel like I'm a Master kind of guy. Catching on to my name, Rule of Two Review, what that means. What's up, Robert Garza? Good to see you streaming. Yeah, man. Dinner watching E3 chat Europe, says Jonathan. Rufus, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man? JD says it's 3:30 here in the East Coast. Yeah, I used to live on the East Coast, long, long time ago. Um, oh man, a lot of questions. Lots of questions. Goofus Maximus says, "Can you do an intro where you accidentally hold the Switch upside down?" I think I already did that. I remember when I don't even remember what video it was, but it was like 2 months ago or so. I think I held my Switch up in the video, and someone pointed out within the first couple minutes that it was upside down, and that is so funny. Oh, you know what? I remember what it was. I think I was comparing. It was a video about the Switch and the Wii U, and so I think I was holding the Switch and the Wii U gamepad like this. I think, and my Switch was upside down. So, I'm human. What are you gonna do? Sometimes Switches are just upside down. Never got to play. Ian says never got to play Skyward Sword, so would love a chance to play it. Yeah, dude, it's a great game. It's a weird Zelda game. Like it definitely did for being one of the Zelda games that follows the traditional formula. It also does some of the weirdest things a Zelda game has ever done, and I'm not even just talking about controls. But the story is fantastic. I think that's the best version of Zelda we've ever seen. I think she's way better than the version in Breath of the Wild. I'm actually not the biggest fan of the Zelda in Breath of the Wild, even though that's the far better game. I loved Zelda in Skyward Sword. So much personality, so freaking great. No voice acting in that game. That was before they added it into Breath of the Wild, but it just doesn't matter, man, because it's like so cool. So hopefully you get a chance to play it. And honestly, dude, I would recommend any Zelda fan that hasn't played Skyward Sword, if we don't ever see a port like in the next year or two on the Switch, which I don't really expect to happen that soon, just play it, man. Just buy it and play it on a Wii or a Wii U. Like it's worth it. It's a really great story. Really, really super cool. It added so much to the lore. And it's um like sequentially, it's the first game too. Like it's the prequel to every Zelda story and every Zelda game that's ever existed. If you want to follow the timeline, which we know was kind of haphazardly put together by Nintendo. Um, Pyro says thoughts on the Game Boy Advance SP. I love the Game Boy Advance SP. That's a weird question, but hell yeah, man. I honestly, that's one of the best handhelds of all time. I probably have better memories of the Game Boy Advance and the SP specifically than even all of the DS lines. Just because of I was working at GameStop when the SP model came out. I started working at GameStop in 2002, which was a great time. I worked through the whole sixth generation, and the Game Boy Advance, the original OG model, was like a year old when I started working there, I think. And then the SP came out, and that was such like a huge thing, man. Those things sold like crazy all day, every day for the entire 3.5 years I worked for GameStop as an assistant manager. It's like, dude, they were so cool, man. That's a great machine. Way to go, Game Boy. Ba-dum. Uh, I would love to see the new trailer for the Hollow Knight Silk song to appear at E3. Yeah, like where did that game go? I don't even know the status of that game. I'm sure it's coming. It could be something where they're like, "Oh, it's available today," because that's what they did with Hollow Knight last year, right? They're just like, "Hollow Knight's coming to the Switch. Download it today." At the end of our presentation, so maybe they'll do that. Frostbite says, "I think they will eventually put Metroid Prime Trilogy." Let me move my laptop closer here. Um, a Metroid Prime trilogy, and the only reason I think that is if new gamers see Metroid Prime 4, they're going to wonder what happened to Prime 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, I've brought that up several times in my Metroid conversations and Prime trilogy. I mean, there's literally a list of like 20 reasons why the Prime trilogy is a good idea and makes a lot of sense on the Switch. And that one reason is right near the top. Like Metroid Prime 4 is going to be their next big Metroid game, their first serious console Metroid game in a freaking long time. It's going to be over a decade by the time that game comes out, you guys, because Other M was 2010. And Metroid Prime 4 ain't coming out before 2020. So it'll be over a decade between Other M and Prime 4. So if they really want to help that game be a big hit, which I think it will be, but if they want to aid it in being a bigger hit, one of the things they could do is make sure new gamers who aren't familiar with or never played those games have a chance to get familiar with it by giving them a Prime trilogy. And right now, the Prime trilogy is also trapped on the Wii/Wii U. And most gamers probably don't have Wii's anymore. And we also know most gamers didn't even buy a Wii U. And I think that a healthy amount of Wii U owners traded in their Wii U to buy a Switch, which makes me sad. I never would do that. I still have my Wii U and I love it, and I was even playing it yesterday. But basically, just people don't have a good opportunity or chance to play the first three Prime games. And what better way to promote the fourth Prime game by making it available to like every current Nintendo gamer and Nintendo Switch gamer? Like, put the damn thing on the Switch. And so anyway, I'm with you, man. I totally think that it's gonna happen hopefully next week. Because if it doesn't happen next week, I'm not. I can't invest my emotions in the Prime trilogy if it doesn't show up at E3. That was kind of the purpose of that video I posted yesterday too. It's like I just can't. I've been singing that song for 2 years, man, since like July 2017, and nothing's happened. So if it's not next week, I'm just turning it off in my brain, and I'm like, it's not happening. And if Nintendo wants to surprise us, then great. So those are my feelings. Um, I was gonna say it'll be shown at E3. Will likely come out closer to when they are ready to market Metroid Prime 4. Yeah. Speaking of Doom, thoughts on Slayer's Club? Says JD. I don't know what Slayer's Club is. Not familiar with that. But I'll tell you what, speaking of Doom, what I was recently turned on to was that Iron Maiden game, the one that was in the news because the band Iron Maiden, which is a great band, is suing them because of the similar names. And so I was like, what the hell is this Iron Maiden? I'd never heard of it. And when I looked it up, it's a total throwback to like old school mid 90s Doom first person PC gaming, and it looks incredible. I am so excited for that game. So if it wasn't for Iron Maiden suing them, which is kind of stupid, but if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have even known about that game. And that game is coming to every platform, including Switch. So that's a Doom game that I think of. Slayer's Club, I am not familiar with that. Rufus says let's pray for Prime Trilogy with motion control option. Uh, not a big fan. Oh, so maybe you don't like the motion control, so you would rather have traditional control, I think is what that says. Yeah, I think that'd be great. I discussed that a long time ago too. Ah, midday coffee. Um, I still have a platinum Game Boy Advance SP to this very day. Sweet. I have like two or three of them. I might have the silver one. I know I have like the blue one and something else like in a box, in a GameCube box actually. Vegan says I still use my Wii U mainly for Netflix. Really? Wow, that's crazy. I'm surprised Netflix is even still available on the Wii U. Actually, that's nuts. JD says odd question. Saw Xbox Game Pass is coming to PC. Do you think that will make it easier for it to come to Switch, like it is rumored? If so, will it open up more games? I don't think that Game Pass coming to PC affects the likelihood of it coming to the Switch. I think if it would come to the Switch, I don't think that has anything to do with it being available on PC. Um, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm not 100% in on believing this whole Game Pass on the Switch thing. I know there's the Xbox Live stuff and achievements that seem to be something that is probably happening on the Switch soon. And I think that that's really interesting. It's a crazy twist to this whole gaming market and the competition of it all. And it's mostly cool, but as far as Game Pass or Xbox video games being made available on the Switch, I know why people see that as a possibility, and it is a little bit of a possibility, but I still am not ready to believe that whole thing yet cuz that's a pretty big jump from making some Xbox Live features available on the Switch to full on Xbox games. It's a big jump. And I know, and this is different than Cuphead being made available because that was simply a port of a previously exclusive game. We've seen similar things happen before, like the first Mass Effect was exclusive to the Xbox 360 because I think Microsoft published it. If I remember right, I do know it was exclusive. I can't remember if it was because of publishing, but whatever. And after a couple years, after Mass Effect 2 came out, eventually maybe it was around the time Mass Effect 3 was coming out is when it happened. Eventually, the rights changed, or whoever it was allowed for the first Mass Effect to also come to PlayStation 3. And so Cuphead coming is an interesting sign, but I think we just might see, instead of just the Xbox library and Xbox Game Pass playable on your Switch, I think we just might see some ports made available. We've seen Minecraft, we've seen Cuphead, Ori. Everyone thinks Ori is going to come, and I think that there's a good chance that happens. But I think it's just going to go that far. Game Pass on the Switch, it would be awesome, but it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. We'll see. I could be wrong. We'll just have to kind of wait and see what happens. But that's kind of where I'm at with that. I know I'm really behind on questions, you guys. Sorry, because there's a lot of them coming in, and I also read them slowly. I take a long time to answer. My Wii U is 990 miles away. That sucks. Are we going to see? Oh, what's up, Bad Bit? What's up, buddy? How you doing, man? Are we going to see or at least hear about Metroid at E3? I think there's a good chance. I totally think that because of the delay of Metroid Prime 4, Nintendo does want to tease something in the Metroid verse for people because that would be such huge news. As long as it's not something dumb like a Metroid mobile game, which I also discussed, if they give us something substantial like a Samus Returns port, which I think has a good chance. Obviously, the Prime Trilogy is the biggest one and possible. Or I've had like this secret wish and theory that maybe they have managed to develop a brand new Metroid game, but like a small scale one. So it would be something like a 2D classic Metroidvania kind of thing. The classic backtracking Super Metroid or Metroid Fusion kind of thing. That would be great. I mean, also another one they could do is a collection or ports of old games. Like they could say Super Metroid is available for $9.99, Metroid Fusion's available for $9.99, or maybe they do like a retail package that has, all of those 2D Metroid games. Like Metroid, Metroid 2, Super Metroid, Metroid Fusion, Zero Mission. They might bring those games over, something like that. So I would say the likelihood of Metroid showing up at all, I'm going to say 65%. That's pretty high. So that's really dangerous wager for me to say. But I'm going to say about 65% chance we hear from Metroid. Obviously, it's not Metroid Prime 4. Hopefully, it's the Prime trilogy. If not, who knows? Samus Returns or a new game. Samus Returns would be amazing, you guys. Wow, that would be so cool to have that game on the Switch with slightly better graphics, even though it looked great on the 3DS. It really did. Um, Wii U was a good console. It just didn't take off. I agree, vegan games. I love the damn Wii U. It was a weird time for Nintendo, but I really love that console. Um, the Master says, "Do you think we'll see Mario Kart 9?" I totally think Mario Kart 9 is coming. And yeah, it could show up. I could see that being a surprise. You know, I mean, they have to pump Mario Kart Tour. I really hope they don't talk about Mario Kart Tour at E3. No one wants to hear about a mobile game at E3, but anything's possible with Nintendo. Maybe they do. My only concern is because Mario Kart Tour is coming, it's the next Mario Kart game. Does that mean they don't want to talk about Mario Kart 9 until after Mario Kart Tour comes out? Like, maybe. So, if there was no Mario Kart Tour, I would put it at a very high chance we would see Mario Kart 9 next week. Because of Mario Kart Tour, it's like 50-50. But that game is coming, man. We might even see it like at the Game Awards in December. It might be something they save for then. How crazy would that be? Um, do you think we'll see Pikmin 4 at E3? Says Oompa Mao Mao. I don't know if I said that right, but definitely a possibility. You know, I brought that up in a video recently too. I think that I think Pikmin and Star Fox are like what's the term I'm looking for? Dark horses. Those are dark horse Nintendo franchises to see return at E3 next week. So it's not a super high chance we see those franchises, but I think there's enough of a chance for us to keep it in our brains. And Vegan Games even he even mentions he or she would like a Star Fox Zero port. And I agree with that too. I like Star Fox Zero. But that game, I think even more excuse me, guys. I think even more than Skyward Sword, I think Star Fox Zero is trapped on the Wii U. I don't think there's a way to make that game work on anything but the Wii U. So they would have to do, in my opinion, a brand new Star Fox game. So yeah, Pikmin 4. Oh my god, I want Pikmin 4 so bad. I freaking need that game, man. And that could be a huge surprise at E3. So run to the Bills. I'd love to see a Star Fox, yeah. Secret of Mana collection got a trademark in Europe. Hoping this is true. Love Secret of Mana. Yeah, there's been so I'm not super familiar with Secret of Mana. I think there was a sequel that did come out on the Game Boy Advance way back, and I did play some of that. Legend of Mana? I don't remember. I don't know, maybe not, but yeah, I'm not really super familiar with that in all those games. I thought that wasn't there already like an upgraded remaster that came out on the PS4 that apparently is super bad? You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't follow it very closely, but I thought that happened, and then it's like, oh, but forget that stupid remaster. Just give us a collection of all the Mana games, and I think that has been a rumor for a long time. So I don't know the status of that, but sure, that would be cool. Not many days left till we're playing the trilogy. I don't know. Good afternoon. Hello, Kniffle. Niffle. Red Dead 2 on Switch. I doubt it, but that would be sweet. Now I did see. Whoop, where'd my thing go? Hold up. My chat got moved around. Let's go back up. Let's go back up. I'm so behind on questions. Knights of the Old Republic, says the Basement Band. I would do anything for Knights of the Old Republic to show up anywhere. I know you can buy the original Xbox version like on Xbox Live, but as far as like a remaster or a port to something like the Switch, ooh, that would be sweet. Oh man, Knights of the Old Republic, the greatest game. Thoughts on Scorpion for Smash? I mean, I don't know if I see it happening, but I think I'd welcome it, you know. It's not crazy. The fact that Cloud and Ryu and Ken, like these characters coming over, yeah, Scorpion is totally a possibility. So I think that would be interesting. You guys, okay, I've said many times what my number one Smash DLC pick is, and it's Travis touchdown. That goes back to the Wii U Smash Brothers. I've been saying, give us Travis and Smash. And I think Smash Ultimate is the time. We've still got, what, 3 or 4 characters left to be revealed. We'll probably get one revealed at E3 next week. And Travis Strikes Again came out on the Switch, talks about No More Heroes 3. Suda wants to do it. He's got a great relationship with Nintendo. Clearly, why wouldn't Travis show up in Smash? It makes so much sense. He might be the last character revealed, but I'm going to believe that it makes a lot of sense to have happen. So I see Metroid Prime Trilogy for Switch. You see it? Oh, I thought you saw my copy. I was like, well, my copy's right over there. Oh, Revolutionati says, "Do you like Between the Buried and Me?" Abso-freaking-lutely. That's my favorite, my second favorite band of all time, and my favorite, very, very current, relevant band. I freaking love them. Blake Richardson is like my favorite drummer, man. That guy is amazing. I've seen them several times. I've actually met Tommy and I've met Blake. And I've seen them maybe 6 or 7 times before. So hell yes. Good taste. The fact that you even know who they are makes me happy. I love BT Bam. Any chance Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 double feature will come to Switch? I don't see that as a huge possibility, but I would definitely love to see like a Galaxy collection. That would be amazing. um, Oh, Rufus says, "Are you hype at all to maybe see Beyond Good and Evil 2?" Absolutely. I need that game in my life. But here's the thing when it comes to Beyond Good and Evil 2. I think I just saw it was confirmed that it's not going to be present at E3, which is a huge shame to me. But I think sometime next week, like a couple of days before E3, I think they are having like a Beyond Good and Evil 2 specific live stream or presentation or something. So if that's true, and I'm pretty sure it's true, that's going to be better than nothing, even if it's not at E3 specifically. And I really want to understand a lot more about Beyond Good and Evil 2. I am hyped. I'm a little bit nervous just because it's not the sequel that we were waiting 15 years for, but it does look cool for what it is. They eventually showed Jade is somehow involved, Paige is there, like, and Beyond Good and Evil is one of my all-time favorite games. So I am really, really excited to see more. It would be nice if they surprised us and it was somehow at E3 on their stage. That would be great. So I don't know. Ocarina of Time 64 can't be beaten. Yeah, what's up? Good to see you too. Thanks for stopping by, man. No secret you're a huge Metroid fan. In your opinion, do you think Metroid Dread will ever come to life? Good question. I know it seems probably silly for me to say, but I do feel like Metroid Dread, whether it's the game or just the concepts that were going into that game, will return. Will return in some fashion. I've been pretty vocal about that. I don't think that the essence of Metroid Dread is gone forever. And a big theory video that I made like a year ago was that maybe the basic concepts and ideas of Metroid Dread have made it into Metroid Prime 4. So, and what that means, I don't even know. That could be the play mechanics, that could be the story, that could be, maybe the main final enemy of Metroid Dread went from the 2D game they were making to this first person Metroid Prime 4. Who knows? The lore, I think that in some way, shape, or form, Metroid Dread will come back. I would love, I guess in a perfect world, what I would prefer is for just the game itself to be resurrected and released as a Switch game or something for the next Nintendo console. Like, it would be great to see it like morphed into Metroid Prime 4, but more than that, I would rather see Metroid Prime 4 just release as what it is, and then Metroid Dread come out, a brand new 2D side-scrolling, freaking awesome modern Metroid game, and tell this Dread thing that they were doing. That would just be amazing. So, but I've often theorized that we might even see that Metroid Prime 4's subtitle is Dread. What if that happened? Because there's Metroid Prime 2 colon Echoes, Metroid Prime 3 colon Corruption. What if it's Metroid Prime 4 colon Dread? Like, that would be the most insane surprise thing ever. Like, people wouldn't even know what to do with themselves. So I don't know. I'm just gonna put that idea out there. If you want, I did make like a 15-minute video really breaking the theory down like a year ago. So if you search like Rule of Two Review Metroid Dread, you'll find it. You'll see that video. So God, my nose is super itchy, guys. Sorry. Neon Mushroom says, "I hope Luigi's Mansion has a multiplayer mode." Every entry in the series since the first game has had one. Really? I don't think was there multiplayer in the first Luigi's Mansion? I don't think so. I don't have my copy anymore, so I can't look. So I mean, it would be cool, and in fact, I would expect it to happen in Luigi's Mansion 3. Um, Ian Morley says SNES games for online service. That'd be awesome as a shadow drop. The way they could Super Metroid on Switch. Yeah, it is the kind of thing that Nintendo might be willing to do if they wanted to really drop the mic at E3 and if they were like, and it turns out we are bringing Super Nintendo games, haha, and it's available today. Like that would be huge. And if that was something where you needed to have the online service to access them, that would like double their online subscriptions like overnight probably. So yeah, that would be really really cool to see. Niffle says, I assume both Ori and Rare Replay would be the Microsoft games most suited for Nintendo's audience. Yeah, I think that's pretty true. Maybe they'll try the Master Chief Collection too, but I doubt it. Yeah, I know everyone months ago when that thing happened, everyone was like, ooh, Halo on Switch, Master Chief on Switch. And yeah, that sounds great, but no matter what is happening with Nintendo and Microsoft behind the scenes, that is the hardest thing for me to believe ever being a possibility. And hey, man, I'm prepared to be wrong if somehow that is what happens, but I just don't see for whatever games they're going to bring over, man. They're not going to bring Halo. They're just not. It would be awesome though. Can you imagine playing Halo on your Switch like portably? I would love that because I freaking love Halo. That's one of my favorite game franchises. So it would be very cool, but I don't see that happening. Oh, this coffee is life. Thank you, coffee. But yeah, Ori, God, Ori would be amazing, and the Rare Replay collection would be very cool. So I would love to see that happen. There should be an HD port of Samus Returns. Yep, I agree. I already said that. 90% something Metroid. I don't know, man. That's pretty high. I'm going to stick with my 65%. Do you think Prime 4 will be cross generation? Says Phase on God. I absolutely do. I very, very, very heavily believe that. Like, I mean, upwards of 85%. I've discussed that before. And I just think that with the delay and with the amount of time it's probably going to take to make a Metroid Prime 4, can you imagine? Those games are so polished, you guys, so polished. And they're huge, very expansive. I think this is going to be the best looking game visually we've ever seen from Nintendo. I think it's going to be a massive adventure. There's going to be so much going on in this game. It is not an easy game to develop. And they restarted it. They restarted development. So if we take Nintendo at its word that they restarted development around the time they told us this, then I think that game is several years away. Again, unless we learn that they made the decision to restart it a year before they told us in January, then it's a different story because that game would be way farther along in development than we know. But let's go on the assumption that when they told us in January that they are restarting the game, that that decision was recent, which means around January they started it. The game has been in development for about 5 months as of right now. If that's the case, that game is 3 years away, minimum, I think. And I know a lot of people push back on me with this, but I don't think that the Switch is going to last more than another 2 or 3 years. I truly feel like by 2022, with the PS5 and the next Xbox likely coming out next year, Nintendo cannot wait 5 years after those consoles launch to release the successor. They can't do it. And a Switch Pro, even if that turns out to be real, ain't going to cut it. Slightly upgrading the already underpowered Switch is not going to provide competition for a PlayStation 5 and an Xbox Scarlet. And if you need any proof of that, it's not even necessarily Nintendo's first party games. I'm talking about third party developers. If Nintendo stays behind the curve of the PS5 and next Xbox for too long, all the third party developers that we love and we want to see all the games that they're making, those games are definitely not coming to the Switch. The current Switch, there's no way. So if they want to be able to be competitive enough to have third party games that are releasing alongside PS5 and Xbox Scarlet games, they need to move beyond the Switch. And so, this is becoming a long answer here, but if they released a new Switch or a successor Switch, a successor console in like 2022, that's a fine time within 2 years. That's a fine time to have released a new console alongside PlayStation and all that. And so at that time, that's right around the time I would think that Metroid Prime 4 would be getting ready to release. So why not launch the next console with a Metroid Prime 4? And to be double smart, yeah, they should make it cross gen. So it both releases on the Switch, that's going to have like 70 or 80 million units out there at that time. And also the brand new thing that everyone's going to be so hyped for. And just like with Breath of the Wild, they're going to buy the new console and Metroid Prime 4 in droves as this amazing launch title to showcase the brand new console. But for everyone who's not willing to do that, they're just going to buy it on the Switch. Like it makes so much sense. It's crazy. So that's why if Prime 4 is really as far off as I think, yeah, it's going to be cross gen. It just, that's my whole theory, man. It just makes too much sense in my brain for it to not happen that way. So yeah, that's how I feel. um, Mercury Steam should remake Super Metroid. That would be cool. All right, I'm going to get to the more current questions here. Um, mm, mm, mm. God, my nose is so freaking itchy. It's like an allergy season like crazy. I beat Zelda 1 when it came out. Metroid eluded me for years. That is a shame. Smash. Oh, Smash in here? Oh, Smash. What's up, buddy? There. Hey, man, I didn't even notice you. 100% Metroid Prime 4 will be compatible with Labo VR. Yeah, you really are on the Labo VR Metroid thing. And I do think that's possible, except here's the thing, like if Metroid Prime 4, if it really comes out in 3 years, I mean, who knows what the state of Labo will be at that time, or even the state of Nintendo's VR. If it's 2021 or 2022 that Metroid Prime 4 comes out, there's a good chance that Labo might just be dead and gone and defunct. Or there's another chance, it's a smaller chance, but there's a chance that Nintendo's moved on to more significant VR, which would then mean that maybe it would be good VR that uses Metroid Prime 4, not Labo dumb cardboard VR that everyone basically says is not very good. So I do think it's possible. You might be onto something though with some sort of VR Metroid Prime 4 thing. It is possible. But I think it's so far off that the state of Labo is just in flux to me when I think of 2022. Like what's going to happen Labo in 2022? I don't know if it's still going to be something that is so far off. I just don't know if Labo will be around, but you never know. Maybe, maybe not. Good points. Always thinking ahead. Yeah, Smash. That's what I do. BN says, "Hey Rob, do you think there's a chance Prime 4 will be the focus of Nintendo's E3 show floor whenever the game gets unveiled?" Yeah, if Nintendo keeps that trend up of trying to theme their E3 booths and their presentations around games. They haven't really done that as much as people want to think, though, if you think about it. I don't know, last year, was there a theme last year? I don't think there was. You know, they did it with Zelda that one year because it was the only thing they brought, and the amount of content in that game was enough to cover an entire E3. And then with Mario Odyssey, they did they did theme it after Mario Odyssey, as far as what I could see. I don't. It didn't seem as extensive as it was with Zelda, but I could be wrong because I wasn't there. And then last year, I don't know if they themed. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Did they theme their booth last year? I don't remember. More than just you go to one area, you have some statues. You go to another area, you have some things. But like, was it like walking into the world of another game? I don't think so. But the year that they do release Prime 4, it would be awesome if they did. And that would be the one time I would want to go back to E3 is if they were doing that. So anything's possible. Anything. What's up, D-Dub? How you doing, man? D-Dub. Rob, thoughts on George Lucas being involved in episode 9? Maybe not E3 related, but still huge. That is huge. That is my favorite possibility. And they did confirm that they consulted with George Lucas before writing episode 9. I think it's actually way more extensive than that. I think he's reasonably involved with that movie, or at least the story of that movie. I really hope. I would love it if he got like a story by credit. That would just be my dream come true because I like episode 7 and I like episode 8, but they haven't really captured me the way the original 6 movies did. But if they wrap episode 9 up properly, especially with Lucas's involvement, it could make everything work that much better. So, and I am pumped for episode 9. I thought the trailer was amazing. It gave me goosebumps. It was so good. And I love me some George Lucas, man. He's my hero. So I don't want to go too deep into that because this is a gaming thing and not really a Star Wars movie thing. I could go on forever about that, though. Um, D-Dub into club. Wyatt Rosebrock says, I'd also like to know what Retro has been working on. Exactly. What the hell has Retro been doing, man? I am over this Retro Studios mystery, man. It's been like way too freaking long. I talked about this on my Nintendo E3 predictions. Like, I think that this, similar to like Prime Trilogy showing up, this feels like it's got to be the year we see Retro's game. Now that Nintendo has told us Retro has moved on to Prime 4, that tells me that the game, whatever they've been doing for the past 5 years since Tropical Freeze, is probably almost done or near the end of its development, right? Like, the, that's the thing. Like, yeah, they've been silent for a long time, but for all intents and purposes, it's because we know they've been making a video game. So what the freaking hell is that video game? Show it to us. Even if it's a Star Fox racing game, I'm all about that Star Fox racing game. Well, I'm open-minded to it, I should say. I'm not writing the concept off just because it sounds weird. Like, if it turns out to be real, I'm very much open to the idea of, okay, Retro Studios, show me what your vision is for this weird racing Star Fox thing. Like, could be really great. I trust you guys. I like Star Fox, so let's see what you got. I'm open to it. But it's honestly probably not that Star Fox racing game. I would think that Retro has been making something else, Maybe it's a new IP. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll see it next week. I think there's a chance. I would say a 35% chance. I'll start putting percentages on things for E3. I'd say 35% chance we see Retro's game. Not as high as I'd like, but it's up there. Thoughts on the development of Metroid Prime 4 actually changing the remaster of the Metroid Prime trilogy? Yeah, I think that there could be something to that. I mentioned it on yesterday's video too. That theory was put out, I don't know, pretty soon after the confirmation that Prime 4 got delayed. And yeah, I mean, I really, really believed Prime Trilogy was going to show up at the Game Awards, you guys. Like, I really believed it. And it didn't happen. And then after that, there were some public figures, industry insiders that very publicly stated that they all but knew the Prime Trilogy was supposed to show up. That was public stuff. Okay. They just said that on Twitter. And I was like, everything adds up, man. Like, this game, the Prime Trilogy seems to have existed, and we thought we would see it, but then we got the delay. And so, yeah, maybe they changed what they're trying to do with Metroid overall because of the delay. And that's why my whole theory yesterday was they probably moved it from the Game Awards to E3 next week. And that's when they're going to show it to us. Excuse me. And so, and several people on my video yesterday pointed out that, oh, Nintendo's never really announced a remaster or a port at E3. And I think that is mostly true. I bet there's one or two times it's happened over the last decade, but even I can't think of anything off the top of my head. So let's just say that that's true. Let's pretend for the sake of argument. Yeah, Nintendo has never confirmed a high profile remaster or a port of something like that at an E3 show. Okay, that doesn't mean that they would never do it. There's a first time for everything for sure. And if there's any truth to all this stuff about the Metroid Prime trilogy, I think that the state of that game is a unique case. And I think that the high profile nature of that game is a unique case, which means if Nintendo had previously had a rule, we're not going to put any remasters or ports at our E3. That's not what E3 is for. It's not what we're going to do. No ports. I think that this might be the time where they're like, well, maybe it's time we change that. The reveal of Metroid Prime Trilogy on the Switch, after everything that the last year has been with that game and with the delay of Metroid Prime 4, that would be one of the biggest things to come out of their E3 show, you guys. Like, tell me I'm wrong. That would be a headline grabber. And so that's why, if there's truth to it, which I personally believe there is truth, it makes sense at E3. I don't care if they've never done it in the past. This is a situation where I think they would say, now is the time to do it for the first time, because there's always a first time for everything. I mean, the first time Nintendo skipped E3, if you think about it, the argument would have been like, oh, they've never skipped E3 before, so why would they skip it this year? Well, 2013 was the year they decided to do that for the first time. And they've done it every year since. So why wouldn't they decide now to show the Prime Trilogy? So this is just my thinking. This is just my personal logic in my head. Hopefully it makes sense to you guys, but that's just what feels right to me. So but it might not happen. And then I'll be sad. And then I'm turning off the Metroid Prime trilogy switch in my brain, and I'm going to restart those games on my own free time instead of waiting. Oh, Badbit says, question: what mic are you rocking? I'm using an Audio Technica. It's a vocal mic that also doubles as like a kick drum mic. Because I mean, I don't know if you know, I'm a musician. I'm a professional musician, a professional drummer. So I have an Audio Technica mic kit that has a couple mics. I used to use a different, bigger one that I've actually thought about pulling back out, but just a little kind of Audio Technica shotgun mic. It's the bomb. It's the bomb diggy. The problem I have with my setup, I have like a nice little 8-channel mixer, an Alesis mixer that I used to use way back when I first started. I switched to a Yamaha little like what's the word I'm looking for? Sound input device that my mic goes through because it's an XLR. I'm not using a USB mic. It's XLR. So it's routing through like a little Yamaha device thing, and the problem is I don't have an EQ on it. So for the last like 3 years, my voice comes through a little bit more high pitched through this microphone because I don't have a true EQ, and I miss using that mixer because that mixer allowed me to mix the sound of this and make it sound a little bit more like natural, like my actual voice. But I mean, that aside, I think the quality has always been really good here. So, um, Basement Band says KSM 27 for drums and vocals. Yeah, that was a standard a long, long time ago. There's a couple of other different standards nowadays. So I like it. You sound good. Thanks, Bad Bit. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It's tough because I've had people ask me for like tips on their audio because I'm more of an audio guy than a YouTube or a video or a live streamer guy. As funny as that is, but the thing is, the way I'm set up is I think more expensive than most people who just get like a pretty decent USB mic. I don't think those usually sound as good though. Like a real true like a vocal mic designed for vocals, for singing, for podcasting, for radio, XLR running through an input device like a mixer or my little Shure thing here. That to me is the best way to do it. So, but it's more expensive. It's definitely more expensive because you need something between your microphone and your computer. You can't really go right into your computer with an XLR. You have to have an input device. Whereas USB mics, you just, like a Blue Yeti, you just plug it right in USB and they're fine. But anyway, this isn't the sound podcast. um, Wyatt says, Rob, do you have favorite Metroidvania other than Metroid? Yeah, my favorite Metroidvania game is Ori and the Blind Forest. That's my favorite. Shadow Complex is great. Hollow Knight is great. Axiom Verge is great. Those are very, very good games. But to me, it begins and ends with freaking Ori. And I'm not including Castlevania games there because when I talk about a Metroidvania, I think people forget this when they talk about it. When someone talks Metroidvania, they're technically including Metroid and those old school Castlevania games in there. So anything that isn't Metroid or Castlevania, that's when I come to Ori. But I do think like Dawn of Sorrow, I freaking love that Castlevania game. God, that game is amazing. And I like that more than Ori, for example. So. Ori is better than Metroid and Castlevania. You shut your mouth. I'm just kidding. Ori is amazing, so I really don't have a problem with that statement. Kniffle says, Rob, do you have a game collection room set up? Not really. Honestly, like, the room, my little office and my game room here that I do my videos in, this is it. I do have my stack of games right over here that you guys can't really see, but it's nothing like you see most people that have like huge shelves of just games and games and games. I don't have that much stuff. Like I've not been a very good collector over the years until about 10 years ago. So, I grew up with NES, Super NES, Sega Genesis, and I had all that stuff, but I never collected. I never saved it all. So I don't really have a very impressive game room. It's just basically what you see here. How long have I been going for? Almost an hour. I'm probably gonna wrap up in about 15 or so ish. I do. God, I always love live streaming, man. I don't do it enough, and every time I finally make myself do it, it's like, yeah, this is great. I should do it more often. But I am super busy. I'm way too busy to do it on a regular basis. People need to lower their expectations with the E3 Direct. I think that's true, but I think that's true for all E3s, for all companies every year. really, you should always. I mean, we can get excited and theorize. I don't think that that's necessarily damaging, but people do have to have some realistic expectations and keep themselves in check. It's been a quiet lead up to E3. We've all discussed it, and that's definitely interesting and weird. It could mean because there's a bunch of slow stuff going on, or it could mean because everyone's going to just drop bombs like crazy, and it's going to be one of the most insane E3s ever. I hope it's that. Um, um, they could add legacy Smash Ball item. That's something about Smash. Give Smash a test your might style minigame. That'd be cool. Test your might. I want Smash Brothers with fatalities. Just kidding. I don't really want that. Radio Ron says, damn, if they don't release Trilogy, those who didn't play are in trouble, me included. Yeah, that's why my brain just goes to why haven't you already played them, you know? I'm not trying to call you out specifically. I'm just saying in general to people who haven't played it. It's like, how did you miss these games? You know, unless you're really, really young, to be fair. And it bothers me to think that people don't still have access to play Wii or Wii U games. Like, I know the Wii U wasn't the great console that people loved, but I mean, it was so smart to still have a Wii U because there's incredible games on the Wii U and it plays Wii games. Like, why wouldn't you keep that? And then you could play the Metroid Prime trilogy. Although, you know what? Metroid Prime trilogy is pretty expensive, right? How much is that? I'm going to look it up on eBay just to see how much it would be to buy the Metroid Prime trilogy right now. It's probably like $80 is my guess. Um, Metroid Prime trilogy. Trilogy. Yeah, $90, $100. So yeah. So that's the one case against it is, if you don't have the Prime trilogy, it's a lot of money to get it. So then you would look at, oh, well, what if you just bought the individual games for like $15 a piece? Yeah, you could do that, but you then have to have a GameCube to play these two, to play Prime 1 and 2. You could play Prime 3 on your Wii U, but you couldn't play the first two. So then you would also need a GameCube. So, yeah, I don't know. Hey, I mean, you know me. You saw my video yesterday. I believe in the Prime trilogy. I think it's going to happen. Um, Not because of behind the scenes info, by the way. I'm not that guy to put that kind of stuff out there. I'm just saying my thoughts and excitement as a fan, and my logic of putting the pieces together tells me I think there's a good chance it shows up. But I am not saying I have the behind the scenes sources, bank my reputation on it. I don't believe in doing that. I think that's dangerous territory for people. I've seen it backfire on people too many times. I would never do that. I'm just a fan, and it feels like the right time for me. That's my approach. Also, the only Microsoft IP in Smash will be Minecraft. Man, I hope not. People talk about what's that Scuba Steve who's in Microsoft or Minecraft, whatever that is. I don't know. Billy Bobby, some guy. Everyone's like, oh, put him in Smash Brothers. I do not want some blocky ass idiot from Minecraft running around Smash Brothers. That is not interesting to me. Um, Banjo Kazooie is the ultimate. That's what we want. No one wants Minecraft people. No one wants silly Scott. People want Banjo Kazooie. Do that. Hope I going forward to gear. I don't know what that sentence is. An original Wii with the GameCube ports. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because the Wii could play GameCube. That's totally true. I know Scuba Steve is Big Daddy. I know that. I'm Scuba Steve. It's just the name that came up to me because somebody said Minecraft Steve, so Steve was the name I was thinking of. But I would rather have Scuba Steve than Minecraft Steve. Put Scuba Steve in Smash. Hashtag Scuba Steve for Smash, which would mean Adam Sandler would suddenly become part of Smash Brothers canon, which is weird to think about. I'm Scuba Steve. I like Big Daddy. Nintendo charges $59.99 for Metroid Prime Trilogy. Would you say, yeah, oh, of course. I don't think anyone would turn that game down for $60. Um, it would be ideal if that was if it was remastered, or at least HD polished. If it's just like standard SD ports, it might be much to ask some people for that, but I don't think people would have a problem. For 3 games, I think that'd be fine. Three. Sorry, I'm sending a text here, which is lame. Jar Jar Binks for Smash. Yep, I'm down. I'm super into that. Any chance you can hold your Switch upside down as a sign out for your You really like that upside down Switch thing. I only did that one time out of my, like, 1,000 videos I've made. It's so funny. What if they announced other MHD? Dude, yes, please. I personally wouldn't be disappointed, but I prefer Samus Returns or Trilogy. I agree, but I mean, I've discussed that. I think Other M is a good game. It's not amazing, and there are problems, but that game rocks. And I think that bringing back Other M on the Switch or an Other M HD, oh my god, that'd be awesome. Give us analog support, like analog stick support. It would be great. And I think it would sell like I think a lot of people, even with the bad reputation of that game, I think a lot of people would buy that game. I would freaking love to see Other M come back. Just like Skyward Sword. Those are like two weird Wii games, Wii entry in famous franchises that are just strange, but I think are great and that I don't want to be trapped on the freaking Wii. Bring it over to the damn Switch. Nintendo is the number one company that can make a crap ton of money by re-releasing the same games over and over again. So I think they should take advantage of that with Other M. You know, I know people hate that game, but it's not so bad, and I think it could be great if the one thing they added were HD graphics and analog stick support. That's all they would need to do, and people would feel way better about that game. So they need to do it. Let alone if they added, like, I don't know, some new content or something to it. How cool would that be? Xbox Live is coming to Switch. Yeah, we kind of talked about that a little bit ago. It seems like there is a good chance. Kieran Buckley says, I hope Town is on the E3 Direct. Yeah, a lot of people talk about that Town game because it's from the Pokemon guys. I don't know. All I remember from their first showing was just like pictures of a city or something, and I don't really know what's going on there. Doesn't seem like the kind of thing that would probably appeal to me, but I know people are hyped for it, so it would be cool to see more about it. I don't expect it to be anything I'm personally into. Metroid 5, yeah, absolutely, Aaron Enderman. Um, I've also brought that up in videos. Metroid 5 makes a lot of sense. It would be crazy. That's what I would think maybe Metroid Dread would be or was supposed to be. The sequel to Metroid Fusion, you know? Metroid 5, Metroid Dread. That would be amazing. Oh my freaking god. So I would love it if that's a way that Metroid showed up at E3 next week. You know, if it's not the Prime trilogy, I would love to see basically Metroid 5, you know, which would be something where maybe, you know, Mercury Steam or some team after Samus Returns came out started working on another 2D Metroid game. And why not make it Metroid 5? Why not make it Metroid Dread? Federation Force is a Metroid game and plays like it. Yeah, I like Federation Force. It gets a lot of crap. Animal Crossing get an official title, 5 minutes feature. I mean, I think we're definitely going to get Animal Crossing info. 5 minutes, maybe. I mean, they did that like with Fire Emblem at that one direct, and last year they did that with Smash Brothers. They gave the 30 minutes on Smash. Um, so if they wanted to do something where their main focus title for E3 this year was Animal Crossing, I could see them giving us a couple of minutes about that game, which you know, for me, wouldn't be the most exciting because I'm not a big fan, but it's a very hotly anticipated game, and I think people would love to see it. You guys are very excited for Animal Crossing. My girlfriend's very excited for it, so it would certainly be cool to see them actually do that. But it wouldn't get me super hyped. So I'd hope whatever their main focus game is, if there is one, is something that more appeals to me, which would be like Link's Awakening, Luigi's Mansion, which it won't be Luigi's Mansion, Bayonetta 3, which it probably wouldn't be that either. Like those are the games right now on the docket, and Astral Chain. Like those are the Nintendo games I'm really excited for. Oh, and Fire Emblem. But Fire Emblem comes out like really soon, so I don't think they're going to do much on that. So yeah, but Animal Crossing's not for me. Pokemon's not for me. Even though I am playing Pokemon as I promised, I'm not like super excited about it. It's just like, oh, Pokemon is what it is, and I said I'm going to play it, so I'm going to give it a shot. Um, Jed says, "Do you think Pikmin will be there?" I mean, we discussed this earlier in the stream. I do think there's a decent chance. There's a good chance. To me, it's one of the dark horse titles is Pikmin returning. So yeah, I'd put that about 30, 35% maybe. We might see Pikmin. Maybe lower than that actually. Maybe 25%. I would be happy. Wait, I would just be happy to get something Metroid, but I'm excited for Animal Crossing. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way. Wyatt says Nintendo never released the numbers on Samus Returns. I don't think. I thought they did. I think it was like around a million. Yeah, see, Sakona says over a million. I don't know if that's true, but that sounds right to me. It sold like a million copies, which is good. It'd be nice if it was more, but it's something. The master says, "Do you think we'll see anything Zelda other than Link's Awakening?" Good question. I'm gonna say no. I don't think it feels like it's time yet. And since they have Link's Awakening to talk about, I don't think they need to talk Zelda. That can be something for next year if they're even ready next year. Will Todd Howard ever give us a refund on Fallout 76? Good question, man. What a bummer Fallout 76 was. I was so excited for that, you guys. I adore Fallout, you guys. I freaking love Fallout. And although I didn't really want an online game, I was excited for that just because it was a new Fallout. And I was like, as long as I can get some single player enjoyment out of Fallout 76, I'm happy to buy it. But once I learned there was no NPCs, I was like, nope. That was when I decided not to buy it. And then shortly after that, all the shitty info came out about that. And then we learned it was just a disaster of a game. So I really dodged a bullet there. But if I didn't hear about the lack of NPCs before it released, I would have had it. I canceled my pre-order like 4 days before it came out because I was like, holy shit, no NPCs. That's not the Fallout I want. I don't want to play with other idiots online. I want to play just a normal Fallout game. So, but I will say this about Fallout. By the way, this is a big prediction. Okay, it's not Nintendo related, but it's a big E3 prediction. I think that a huge portion of Bethesda's press conference is going to be doing major damage control in a positive and funny way. Major damage control for Fallout 76 and a promise and strong commitment to improve that situation and let people know we're not giving up on Fallout 76. We've heard you. We acknowledge the problems. We acknowledge our mistakes. And, you know, this next year, this next 12 months of Fallout 76 is going to change everything. We are going to be giving you this thing you want, this thing you want, this thing you want. We're going to fix this. We're going to fix that. We're going to fix that. I think that Todd Howard is going to do like a major presentation about committing to making Fallout 76 what they want it to be. Major PR damage control. And Bethesda's a smart company. Todd Howard is a smart guy. So I think that if they deliver the message properly and if their commitments are good commitments, I think it could go over really well and it could save that game. And if they make it more the game that I wanted it to be in the next year, I will buy it and play it if it becomes something that appeals to me. So that's my big Fallout 76 thing. So just mark my words, it's going to happen. I rage quit on Animal Crossing New Leaf. Things got way too expensive. Wow. I don't know. Like with DLC, there wasn't DLC for that, was there? Is that what you mean? I don't know. I'm not a Metroid fan, but even I need a trilogy in my life right now. There you go. That is the pull of Metroid and the Prime trilogy, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna show up next week. Just wait, it's gonna happen. I'm excited. Based on sales, people like LM210 more time. I don't know what that is. Oh, Luigi's Mansion 2. Oh. Will Nintendo ever stop balling me on the Prime trilogy? I love all the Metroid Prime trilogy and Prime 4 conversation. That's why I like doing these because as soon as I get online, everyone starts bringing Metroid stuff to me. That makes me really happy. Whoops, just punching things. We're getting Madden. We should get Madden, you know. It really should happen. Luigi's Mansion remake sold about the same. I think Luigi's Mansion remake was to showcase people like more, one or two. I don't know. Why don't they do a crossover with the characters like a single player? That'd be amazing. I don't know what you're talking about there. I don't know what you're talking about. I think there will be a focus on Doom. So I don't know if you're talking about Bethesda's show, but I do think you're right. Bethesda for sure will be a big focus on Doom Eternal. Does that happen before Nintendo's? I think it does. Let me look. Let me look. I'm pretty sure that Bethesda's before Nintendo. Do I still have that thing? I had a thing saved with the schedule. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it is. So if Bethesda's happens before Nintendo's, I think Bethesda might show off a bunch of Doom Eternal and make that the big focus. Maybe they do do a blowout on Star Citizen. I think that could happen as well. But if Bethesda focuses on Doom Eternal, and then the next day Nintendo has their presentation, Nintendo might also have a reason to show a good amount of Doom Eternal running on the Switch. That would be very exciting, because I'm sure that Bethesda won't want Nintendo to blow the doors open on Doom Eternal. They want to show it off on PC hardware, the best looking version of that game, and be the ones to say, this is our game and look how great it is. And everyone loves it and they love Bethesda. And then the game might also be featured in Nintendo's E3 Direct. That's something I could see happening. And I'm very excited. That's a game, might be the first time in history I buy two versions at the same time. Because I haven't double dipped on Doom for the Switch, because I already have it on the Xbox One, and so it's like, I want it on the Switch, but I don't need to. I just don't need it. So why would I do that? But Doom Eternal coming out on multiple consoles on the same day, I might do something crazy and buy a Switch version and a PlayStation 4 version. Or actually, I'd probably buy the Xbox One version. I might do that. So been going for over an hour here. I'm not the biggest Animal Crossing fan, but I'm getting it on Switch, giving it another chance. That's cool. I'll be excited to see what my girlfriend thinks of it. Actually, what I think what we might do is when that game comes out, she'll play it for like maybe a week, and maybe we'll do a video because she's an Animal Crossing fan. So maybe I'll have both of us on camera where I'm kind of asking her about it and give her a chance to talk about it, since I'm not an Animal Crossing fan and I won't be playing the game unless it's like crazy different, but it's not going to be. We need a new Mario Strikers. Yeah, that'd be fun. I want Mario Golf. Mario Golf is definitely the game I like, because Mario Tennis disappointed the hell out of me. I did not like that game. That is the first and only Switch game that I have traded in, because I just was like, I don't ever want to play this game again. I did not like it. But Mario Golf, I love Mario Golf. So hopefully they do something really cool with that. So maybe that shows up. Mario Golf. Who knows? The thought of the Prime games on the Switch just brings tears to my eyes. Oh my God. Yep, I agree. Never had any interest in Animal Crossing, nor do I desire. Wow. I thought I was the only person in the world who didn't care about Animal Crossing. Zelda Breath of the Wild says, I know you don't care for Pokemon, but out of 808, which is your favorite? What? Are the ones you've seen or heard of, at least, of Pokemon games? Or Pokemon? 808? Is there 800 Pokemon? Is that what you're asking? I don't know what that means. When I hear 808, I think of like an 808 electronic bass note. That's an 808. I think you're asking about actual Pokemon, and I just can't answer that question. Yeah, I can. Squirtle. I like Squirtle. He's great. Yes, number 808. Okay, so you mean there's 808 Pokemon? Oh my God. Well, I guess that makes sense. I mean, it's been going forever, and there's been so many versions. So what do they introduce 100 new Pokemon with every new game? Is that what they do? 808's and Heartbreak. That's the drum I use. Yeah, see, when I hear 808, that's what I think of. I think of music. I do not think of Pokemon. Pokemon rumors are always fake. Luigi's Mansion is where it's at. Can't wait for E3, or can't wait for 3. Yeah, I'm so excited for Luigi's Mansion. Okay, Jed Gangman says in 7th gen, which I think you mean Pokemon. So in 7th gen Pokemon, it was 720. Gen 6 and 7 had around 70 each. Kniffle says, I'm a Pokemon fan, and even I'm surprised about the 800. Ah, there you go. Yeah, because they've shown those 3 new Pokemon, right? Which is Sobble and the other 2. Sobble's the only one I remember. Sobble and then the other ones. So they've shown those ones. So there'll be like, I guess, 60 or 70 new Pokemon with Sword and Shield is what it sounds like. That's cool. I don't know how you guys keep track of Pokemon. That blows my mind. I mean, I knew there was a couple hundred. I thought there was like 400 or 500 Pokemon. So it's literally double what I thought there was. That's insane Pokemon count. Yeah. No, 3DS was like 70. Oh, okay, there you go. How many started? Wasn't there like 100 Pokemon in the very beginning? You guys tell me what the original amount was, because I just don't know. I don't do the Pokemans. I've got nothing against it. I've never had a problem with Pokemon. I've never been a hater, just not for me. Um, 151. That's right. The original 151. I've heard people say that before. So yeah, it started with 151. Honestly, I loved when they made Samus talk another M. Would love to see her talk more. I know it won't happen, but her commentating on stuff would be cool. Yeah, I liked that they did it. I think that they could have done it way better. Um, but I thought it was a good choice to do that narratively. They needed to tell a better story. There's some things I do like about the story on Other M, but there are some things, some of the bigger complaints I agree with. I love Malkovich, and I liked their relationship because they planted the seed for that in Metroid Fusion, which takes place afterwards, but released way before Other M. But I do think that in Other M, they took the relation between Samus and Malkovich way too far, and they took it into weird territory. So that's how I remain a fan of that game. Is it's like, yeah, I like that game. I like the story. I like Samus talking. I like Malkovich. I don't like every aspect of the story, and I think Malkovich and Samus went too far. The permission to use stuff is dumb. And the more I've gone back and revisited that game over the years, the more I've realized how dumb it really is. I still like the game. I really like the game, but that is a problem. Somebody tagged me on something. 2007 Diamond and Pearl, there were already 493 Pokemon. Okay. Um, just to know what she's thinking, though, what's going on in Samus. Honestly, yeah, that's the aspect of the storytelling I did like, was understanding who Samus was as a woman, as a person, as a bounty hunter, like her previous history in the military and the Galactic Federation. Like that stuff was great. But the weirdness was the Malkovich stuff. They did do that, I think, in my opinion, way too melodramatically. So that's the stuff that didn't work for me. Shadow Drop. I love my ducky, says Shadow Drop Hollow Knight Silk Song after E3. Yeah, that actually came up in the beginning of the stream. The fan hack of Other M removed most of the dialogue. That's lame to me. I'd rather have the version as it is now than some dumb fan hack thing. I don't. That stuff's not for me. Um, at some point, you need to play the two big Pokemon games on GameCube. Eh, I have no desire, man. No offense, if they're great, I totally believe they're great, but it's just I have no desire. I am excited to play Sword and Shield or whichever one I buy. I'm excited to give that a shot, see what it's like, tell you guys my reactions and my reviews and stuff as a newcomer. But I don't want to go back and play those weird old games. Not for me. Seriously, very close to going to get a Wii U to play some Metroid. Do it, Basement Band. You can play four. Actually, sorry, you can play a crap ton of Metroid games. Is the eShop? Wait, did they shut the eShop down on the Wii U? Didn't they do that recently? I can't remember. If you can still, or the Virtual Console, sorry. If you can still access the Virtual Console on the Wii U, you can play Metroid, Super Metroid, Metroid Fusion, Metroid Zero Mission, Metroid Prime, Metroid Prime 2, Metroid Prime 3. Oh, sorry, the Metroid Prime trilogy. You can't play Prime 1. The Metroid Prime trilogy and Other M. You can play all of those games on your Wii U if the Virtual Console is still accessible. That is amazing, you guys. Freaking do it. Everyone should have a Wii U. It's not a bad console. Yeah, Wii U is expensive. I think that happened right now. The Wii U has become like really like rare. What is that for on eBay? Let me look at a Wii U. Something I don't need because I never got rid of my Wii U. Wii U. People selling game pads? Wii U console. Okay, I guess they don't exist. Oh, here's one for 160 bucks. They're not that expensive. They're not that bad. They're still all on there. It's still okay. So the Virtual Console you can still access. The Wii Shop channel's defunct. That's what it was. I knew something got shut down. Best part of GameCube Pokemon is double battles every battle adds so much more skill. That's cool. I made the mistake. Haunt me for the rest of my life. What's that mistake? What's a Wii U? Yeah, I know. GameStop has Wii U for 140. That's not a lot of money for a Wii U, in my opinion. For a console that's not really that old in the grand scheme of things. It's not a retro console, so I think 140 is fine to me. I bought a 3DS just to play Link to the Past and Majora's Mask. There you go. So you should buy a Wii U. Oh, getting rid of the Wii U was the big mistake you made. Yep, I would agree. You made a big mistake with that. I'm with you. Pokemon is not for me anymore. Fallen out of interest with the franchise. Oh wow. I haven't heard many people say they've fallen out of interest. It seems like people who are Pokemon fans have just like always been fans and still love it and are still excited. Someone is like chainsawing something outside of my window. So if you guys can hear that, that's what that is. One of my neighbors. I hope Luigi's Mansion 3 is not episode based like Dark Moon. I want something more akin to the original. I agree, Randy. I totally agree. I said that. And I like Dark Moon on the 3DS, but I didn't like that it felt level based. You had your different mansions you went to and it was different sections and I liked the first game which was just one big mansion and that mansion was a puzzle. So I hope that with Luigi's Mansion 3 they go back to one mansion and it's like 3 times the size of the original game, like a 15 to 20 hour experience, a massive puzzle with a bunch of new stuff to do. That's my dream. Hope E3. I love my ducky. I love your name. I love my ducky says, I hope E3 is crazy because Switch games for me have been dry, just old games and ports. I mean, that's true. I think 2019 is shaping up, is going to be amazing by the back half of the year. But yeah, 2018 was pretty slow. And 2019, I actually thought about this the other day. I think the only new current or no, sorry, there's 2 games that I've purchased for the Switch in 2019, and it's Travis Strikes Again, which I also was given a review copy for, but I also bought it separately to have a physical copy. Um, and Yoshi's Woolly World, or sorry, Yoshi's Crafted World. Those are the only 2 Switch games I've bought and really played in 2019. There's 1 or 2 eShop games that I've purchased that are like older, but that's it. So yeah, it's been slow. Like I'm waiting for Fire Emblem. I'm waiting for Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I'm waiting for Luigi's Mansion, Astral Chain, and that's it. I think that's it for me personally. And I don't think Bayonetta 3 is coming out this year. Otherwise, that would be on the list too. So I've been over 80 viewers a few times. That's been really cool. So thanks for tuning in, guys. You know, I'm not a regular live streamer, so I don't usually get huge turnouts. I've been over 100 viewers like maybe 3 times ever. But 70, 80 viewers, that's pretty cool. So yeah. Yeah. Oh, I see something here I got to talk about. St- Steak Taste Better Pill. Steak Taste Better Pills is going on over 10 years praying for Batten Kaitos 3, which could still happen, to be fair. I agree. I freaking love Batten Kaitos. In fact, what are the odds? Oh, that's the wrong game. Hold up. Still have mine. Batten Kaitos. I have Batten Kaitos Origins too, like over there somewhere. This freaking game, I love this game. I did not think I would like this game, but I love it. And the good old days of 2 disc GameCube games, this makes me so happy just to look at this. God, so good. Um, so yeah, Batten Kaitos 3. And hey, so I discussed in my Nintendo predictions video also the idea of Monolith's new game. And what if they come back to Batten Kaitos? What if they make Batten Kaitos 3? People wanted that for a while. That would be amazing. And like, I don't play JRPGs or RPGs very often. So for me to be so invested in a JRPG series like Batten Kaitos, that says a lot. That's a damn good series. The first one was way, way better. I liked Origins, but I didn't love it. The first one is the superior game, but still, they're both great games. And I'm Batten Kaitos 3 on the Switch, you guys, I would cry. I would freaking be so excited. So, yeah, man, give me that. D-Dub says, has your camera ever moved from the spot it's in? Also, what kind of camera? Oh, you just mean in general. Yeah. So the camera I use, I'll show you the camera I use. It's not all that fancy. This is the one I use for my videos. It's an AEE little thing. It's basically like a fancy GoPro. My good buddy Mizati, he's the one who suggested that I use this when I wanted to upgrade because I used my phone when I first started. But this is what I use now. It's got a great fisheye lens, and I keep it on the low setting for fisheye, and it's high quality. It does 1080 and it does 4K, but I don't do anything in 4K. So this is what I use for the normal videos. Right now, I'm just using a separate USB webcam that Spawnwave, John from Spawnwave, told me to get. The Logitech C something. Does it say it on here? Is I staring at you guys' face? C20, I think, or whatever. It's like a really standard Logitech. So that's what I use now. And it's just sitting on this little shelf here. Like I can move it around and do that kind of stuff. So that's what I use. So yeah, every time I set up my phone my camera, when I do a video, I log into the app on my phone so I can see where it is and I set it here because I leave it charging and then I set it here and I find out where it is and then I record. That's what I do. Behind the scenes info of Rule of Two review. I have wanted to upgrade to like a really nice camera though, like a DSL. We have one for the band, but it's not truly mine, so I haven't used it. DW says, "Well, I have a C20. It doesn't look as good as it does. Your quality is looking good." Yeah, it is. I mean, so if you have the same one, it probably depends partly on your computer, which to be fair, I also am using my brand new super fancy laptop that Spawnwave also suggested I get. He helped me over the holiday. I was like, "Hey, dude, like I want to upgrade." And he spent like probably 2 weeks going over options and sending me links to all of these awesome options with different prices for like a good laptop that's a good gaming laptop and also would help me be have faster editing and video processing. So he hooked me up. John is the coolest guy, man. He just as a friend, just as a buddy, he spent a lot of time, just like finding stuff and sending it to me over literally over like 2 weeks. And I said this in a tweet too, like no gain for him. He just was like, yeah, like what? How can I help? Because he knows his stuff. So that was really cool. So, yep. Do you like scanning in the Prime games? So I do for my first playthrough. Here's what's tricky because I go back and I play the Prime games like every year, pretty regularly. And part of me says I don't really need to scan much because I just know everything and I just know where to go and I just get through it just to play the games and the scanning slows me down. The other part of me has total ADD and hates the idea of skipping something when I see something I know I could scan and add to my logbook and add to my percentage. It's hard for me to tell myself not to do it because it's like I just think it's right there. Just do it. You can see it. Just scan it. So I do end up scanning more than I mean to. But when Prime 4 comes out, I'm going to scan every little stupid leaf and rock and button I see. I'm going to scan like crazy. I'm going to just soak it all in because I never thought we would actually get a new Metroid Prime game, man. So I'm very excited. Um, yeah, was there another question I was supposed to answer about the camera? Yeah, I don't know why. I guess I just have really good quality. Also, lighting helps. So that's the one thing I've learned when doing stuff like if you have a camera, even if it's a decent camera, if you don't have good lighting, it's not going to show up as well unless it's like a DSLR and has a specific setting for like low lights and stuff for low light setting. But like, so this C20 I have a lamp shining right on my face, and I have the light up here above in the room, and that creates great lighting, which means the clarity comes through, and like I don't get much lag, like I can move around and it doesn't lag much. And I think it's because of the lighting. So I would give you that tip if you want to have better. But I'm not even the best person to ask for tips. There's plenty of other people that do way better streaming and better quality. OJ, Player Essence, is one of the best examples. Like his stream quality and video quality is like impeccable. And I don't know how he does it. He told me he would even help me. He was even like, "Oh, if you ever need help streaming, like ask me for stuff," a couple years ago. And I've never bugged him about it, but he would be the real person to ask how to get super quality because I'm really not. I'm really not that guy. Um, that dude, great. Ever thought about? I don't know what you're saying there. Oh, OC. Yeah, OCD. Did I say ADD? I meant OCD. Thank you for the correction. Yeah, I wasn't thinking properly. Um, Spawn John is the man for yeah. Spawn yeah. John's great. Spawn Wave is great. OJ's great too. If you asked him for like tips on video quality, I think DW you were asking, he would be ask him. He would be a better person than me to ask. Real talk though, if they do Batten Kaitos 3 and they can't get a hold of Callus's English voice actor, will you audition for the role? It'd work. Nah, I would not. I'm not the guy. I'm not a voice actor. Jono, what's up, buddy? Hey man, thanks for stopping by. I'm actually about to wrap up here in a minute. I don't know if you just showed up, but or maybe you've been here the whole time and you're just kind of tuning in. But yeah, I'm glad to see you, man. You're like the most positive, regular commenter on my channel, and I see you on other people's channels too. So that's awesome. Thanks for showing up, man. Thanks, buddy. Just got here, Lord Robert. I miss Jason. What's up, man? Thanks for the super chat. Jace Jackomac is my good buddy. This is my movie buddy and Game of Thrones buddy. Rob, 1 more minute. Yeah, I say 1 more minute a lot. Jason, I thought you were at the gym, man. What are you doing? What are you doing online? How long do you think the E3 Direct will be? Uh, I'm expecting it to be. What was it last? It was like 40 minutes last year, right? Because they did like 30 minutes of Smash. I don't expect that this year. I think 25 to 35 minutes. That's my guess. Jono says, I've been here, don't worry. Oh, okay, cool. That was hours ago, Jason. Oh my God, you're right. Really? Let me look at my texts. I guess that was. I mean, I've been here for an hour. Yeah, that was. Wow. Holy crap. Prime 4 question. Do you want Dark Samus to return? I'm kind of over her. Blasphemy. Yes, I want Dark Samus to return because I freaking love Dark Samus, but there's a problem with that, which is really kind of the inherent problem with the Prime 4 in general. Like the story is like, what is the story? Metroid Prime was defeated, and Prime is Dark Samus. But I love Dark Samus. I'm a sucker for Dark Samus. So I get how you say you're over her, but she's got to be there. Oh my God, I need Dark Samus. I want HD Dark Samus, Metroid Prime 4 showdown between Samus and Dark Samus. I need it in my life. So, and if this game is called Prime 4, then Prime, the enemy and character, has to be present, right? Or like maybe some spawn or DNA clone. And if that's the case, then Dark Samus could show up again. So I would prepare yourself for the very potential return of Dark Samus. So I'm missing some questions here. I really need to wrap this up, and I can't make myself remember. Joey, I should be working, Rob. How do you do this to me? What's up, buddy? Thanks for stopping in, man. Well, for what it's worth, I'm literally wrapping up. I promise I'm wrapping up like any minute here. So I'll be done soon, and then you can be not distracted. What are you working on? You should give me all the secret inside details of whatever you're working on. Jono says, which Nintendo related character would you like to see as a guest character in MK11? Uh, Samus. I think Samus is one of the few Nintendo characters that would make sense. Imagine if it was like Luigi. Could you imagine Luigi in Mortal Kombat? That would just be. It would be very joyful to see, but it sure as hell wouldn't make sense. But Nintendo would never do that. Nintendo would never put like. They would never put their characters in a game where they're going to get like decapitated and burned to a crisp and stuff. Joey says, "Yay, I'm just working at my doing day job stuff. Gotcha. Well, cool, man. I'm glad you managed to tune in before I end up wrapping up here, which I really need to do because I have to go to do band stuff soon." Randy says, "Did they confirm who grabbed the baby at the end of Federation Force? I knew it was rumored to be Psylux. I don't know if that was confirmed. And I don't think it's Psylux because they have been trying to force the Psylux thing for too long. I feel like Psylux is going to be a part of Prime 4. Um, I guess it could still be Psylux in Federation Force, actually. That does make sense. Oh, Stakona says it is confirmed. So maybe I'm wrong. There you go. I don't even know. I'm the Metroid super fan, and I didn't even know that if that is true. So I can barely remember. I mean, I beat that game. I played that Samus final boss, but I don't remember it. Jono says Waluigi at MK11. Yes. Well, Bayonetta or Travis Touchdown, but those aren't Nintendo characters, though, Jono. So they have been exclusive in different degrees to Nintendo consoles, but they're not Nintendo's characters. So if you want to go into that territory, then yes, I think Bayonetta or Travis could be really cool. Um, Zubin says, "Hi, Rob. Hope you're doing well. I am doing well. Thank you so much." Okay, I have to do it, you guys. I really actually want to keep talking. I'm having a lot of fun, but I have to wrap up because I'm gonna have to get going in a little bit here, and I just need to cut it off. Otherwise, I will just talk and answer questions for eternity, and it's not good. But I'm gonna repost this in like a little bit, so you guys will be able because I'm gonna like make a thumbnail or whatever. So you'll be able to hear this again after a little bit, sometime later tonight, maybe if you want to catch up on the stuff that you didn't hear here in this live stream, which turned out to be 90 minutes. Holy crap. I cannot believe I did a 90-minute live stream. Enjoy band practice. Yep, I will. Yeah, so I'm gonna miss you, man. You too. Peace, Joey. Thanks for stopping by, dude. I super appreciate it. Smash stopped by for a while. Later, Jono. Who else? Bad Bit stopped by. So it's cool when other YouTubers show up. So all right, you guys are all awesome. Thanks for stopping by. Check out the replay in a couple of hours, and you guys have a good day. And I'll touch base again soon. I will do another live stream right before E3. I promise you guys that. So sometime next week I'll do one more. So yeah, I'll see you guys later.